Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Drawing Board. My name is David Franklin, I'm your host. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're going to go ahead and jump into it, talking about the last of the 4 letters on the Meyers Briggs test. If you haven't seen it before, I talk about it most on my introverts versus extroverts video, but we're going to do a quick recap here. The Meyers Briggs test breaks you down into gives you 4 labels, and you have a choice of 2 different options in each category. The first one, introversion versus extroversion. The second one, intuition versus sensing. The third one, thinking versus feeling. And today we're going to be talking about judging versus perceiving. And in my case, and a lot of other people's cases, the judging versus perceiving thing can be really hard. And for that reason, sometimes it's best to have people who are closest to you take the test for you. And the reason for that is because many people who are natural perceivers feel as if they are a judger and vice versa. The reason for that being is judging versus perceiving, it's how other people think you deal with flexibility, essentially. So as a judger, someone who likes to have a strict routine, you may think that you are flexible, and by your schedule, you absolutely might be. But from an extroverted sense, from a how you deal with other people on the outside, you may be flexible within your own little world, but to other people, when they throw a wrench in your plans, as a judger, you weren't very flexible, and vice versa. If you think, I'm orderly, I get things done, I have a plan, but everyone else thinks, well, actually, no, you kind of don't really ever have a plan, you just kind of go with the flow. That's what a perceiver would be like. So right off the bat, that's a really quick description of what a judger versus a perceiver is, but I'm going to go into the Meyers Briggs test online again and talk about just what exactly a judger versus a perceiver is. So a judger, again, is someone who usually has very strict plans and ideas. Now, this does not mean they are judgmental. Those are different things entirely, but it uses a similar word, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about that now. So according to the Myers-Briggs website, judging says, I use my decision-making, judging, preference, whether it is thinking or feeling, in my outer life. To others, I seem to prefer a planned, orderly way of life. I like to have things settled and organized. I feel more comfortable when decisions are made, and I like to bring life under control as much as possible. So again, you see this is partly part of your nature, but it's also how you interact with other people, because you can think, oh, I'm not that bad at that. I'm not that bad at being flexible. But it doesn't matter how you feel, it's how you relate to other people. So again, judging. Since this pair only describes what I prefer in the outer world, I may inside feel flexible and open to new information, which I am. Do not confuse, that's what it says, I'm not saying which I am. Anyways, do not confuse judging with judgmental in its negative sense about people and events. They are not related. The following statements generally apply to me / judging people. I like to have things decided. I appear to be task-oriented. I like to make lists of things to do. I'm a to-do list person. This is me actually talking. Love my to-do lists. I like to get my work done before playing. I plan work to avoid rushing just before a deadline. And sometimes I focus so much on the goal that I miss new information. Now, again, a lot of people, it doesn't matter whether you're a judger or a perceiver, a lot of people think, I kind of fit both of these categories a whole lot. So when you take the test, again, your results are going to be based on a percentage. So no one's really going to be a 100% judger and a 100% perceiver, just like they're never going to be a 100% extrovert or 100% introvert. And you may get that result, but it's more than likely not completely true. You generally have a little bit of introvert in you, even if you're a pure extrovert. So, anyways, the point here being, you may feel like you have a little bit of the other side in you, and you probably do. But that does not mean you are mostly the other thing. You might have a judging preference of 70%, which means you'd have a strong preference for plans and things like that. But you could also have a 30% or lower, which means you have a mild to no preference. If you have 50%, you have a moderate preference, and above 50% is a moderate to strong preference for that particular trait. So again, you can have a strong preference and still have a weaker use of the other side. Anyways, I'm rambling. We're going to get to perceiving. Perceiving. I use my perceiving function, whether it is sensing or intuition, in my outer life. To others, I seem to prefer a flexible and spontaneous way of life, and I like to understand and adapt to the world rather than organize it. Again, emphasizing flexibility. Others see me as staying open to new experiences and information. Since this pair only describes what I prefer in the outer world, inside I may feel very planful or decisive, which I am. Remember, in type language, perceiving... That's a weird phrase. Remember, in type language, perceiving means preferring to take in information. It does not mean being perceptive in the sense of having quick and accurate perceptions about people and events. So judging and perceiving, neither of these really mean anything. They're just words used to describe these characteristics. The following statements generally apply to me, perceiving people. I like to stay open and respond to whatever happens. I appear to be loose and casual. I like to keep plans to a minimum. I like to approach work as play or a mix of both work and play. I work in bursts of energy. I am stimulated by an approaching deadline, and sometimes I stay open to new information so long I miss making decisions when they are needed. So, I'm going to set this aside here. The way I really like to kind of hone in on this and focus on what is a judger, what is a perceiver, the best sort of metaphor I can think of is think of someone who fits the military characteristic really, really well. They wake up 5 a.m. every morning. They got their PT, they got their physical training from 5 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. From 6:30 a.m. to 6:45, they're getting their shower and getting dressed. 6:45 to 7, they're, doing some stretching, maybe kind of just getting right with their mind. 7 a.m. to 7:30, they're in the mess hall, right? Like, this is their structure of the day. That's the judging type person. And again, they're going to start off physical training in the morning. Then we're going to get my shower. Then we're going to get my food. Then we're going to study for 3 hours. And then it's noon. I want to do something maybe. Sure, I'll go hang out with people. But I've already got some of my work done. I've answered my emails. I've gotten my workout in. Blah, 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 blah. That's the judging, the epitome of the judging type. Again, you can be a judging type without being quite that strict. This is just the way I like to think about it in its purest form. And the perceiving type is someone, let me get close to the camera here. The perceiving type is someone who, they don't really set up a whole lot of plans. They're kind of like, you know what, that's a week away. I can't tell you what I'll be doing that day. I've got a lot of stuff on my schedule. I've got all these emails I need to respond to. I need to work out. I can't promise I'll be in the gym from what did I say? 5:30 to 6:30. I can't promise I'll be doing PT from 5 to 6:30. Maybe CrossFit training at the gym is the classes from 7 to 7:30, but maybe I'll have to work at this time during this week, so I'll have to adjust it and go to the morning class. But maybe I won't be able to do the morning class. Maybe I'll have to put that off till Friday because maybe this morning I'll have to catch up on some extra homework or something like that. That's the perceiving type. You kind of take things as they're thrown at you. This is not quite the artistic type, but that sort of flexibility and just kind of take it as it comes sort of mentality. That's the epitome of the perceiving type. So again, I'd say the judging versus perceiving type, unless you're a very specific type of person, you're probably going to have more of a mix than in the other categories. Generally, you're going to see people with very strong, not generally. Generally, you're probably more likely to see people with strong extrovert and intuitive responses, and fairly strong intuition versus sensing, fairly strong thinking versus perceiving, but some weaker judging versus perceivings, unless they're a very specific type of person. Again, that's not completely true, because you could be an ambivert, which means you like hanging out in groups of 3, not by yourself, but not with tons of people, right? That's somewhere in the middle of extrovert and introvert. So anyways, point being, all taken aside, that's how that's going to go. It's probably going to be a weaker response than the other categories. So we're getting up to 10 minutes. I'm actually surprised when I saw I was at 5 minutes. I didn't think I was going to go that far. Since I have some time, I'm going to go ahead and lay some stuff down, tell you what I'm going to be doing in a few days. So I was talking to a friend the other day. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Share it with some friends. Take the Meyers Briggs test or 16 personalities. I'll put that in the description below. And that's basically the end of the video, unless you want to kind of catch a recap on what's happening with the channel and with me. So anyways, I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was talking to me about the channel. He didn't know it was doing so well. He didn't know that, you know, I was approaching 500,000 views on the channel, or that I was getting close to 3,000 subscribers, which, again, I've said this several times, but thank you so much to everyone who watches the show. I know there's 3,000 subscribers, but that doesn't mean 3,000 people are watching all the time, and that has to do with the way YouTube works nowadays. Is you can be subscribed to someone and not see when someone puts out a new video. You have to click a little bell in the corner to turn on alerts when I post a video. So if you really want to catch stuff from me, you can do that. But because of that, I have 3,000 subscribers, and when I get 3,000 views on a video, only about 10% of them are for my subscribers. So I'm getting 100 to 300 of you who are regularly watching my stuff. And I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm just saying that's kind of the fact of what's going on right now. So people seem to like this, these sort of like political and philosophical, almost vlog formats that I'm doing here, where I do get into some science, but it's not hardcore science like the stuff when I was talking about at the beginning. I was talking about the fourth dimension and tesseracts, and I was talking about how to make plasma in the microwave, and I was building things. And, you know, those are things I'm really passionate about, and they don't seem to have a place in this channel. And so I was thinking about rebranding. Right now, the name of my channel, sorry, I'm looking at my computer screen right now. The name of my channel is David Franklin, right? This is me and my channel. This isn't a science channel. I talk about science because that's a big part of my personality, but it isn't wholly a science channel. So anyways, I'm thinking about separating into two different channels. I was thinking about launching a vlog channel, which I've talked about. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to try is my next video to you isn't going to be a Meyers Briggs video. It's going to be one of my vlogs talking about my experiences at Disney. So if this channel got turned into my vlog channel and I went somewhere else for my science channel, yeah, I would absolutely link it in. There would absolutely still be science on this channel. It would just become more of a what I want to talk about today sort of channel, because the 100 of you who are regularly watching my stuff, you may like my personality and that science comes through on it, but you may not be hardcore. You may not be in it for the pure science of it. You might just like me. But you may like my personality, what I have to say. And if that's the case, I want you to go ahead and like and comment on tomorrow's video. Tell me if you are okay with me making this the vlog channel. So David Franklin would still look a lot like this channel, except vlogs and stuff would be thrown in. And when I saw something on the news or something like that I wanted to respond to from a scientific perspective, of course I absolutely would do that. That's what I've been doing the whole time. And it's a big part of my personality. I love science, so it's going to leak through in all of my episodes one way or another. But I'm not gonna have, you know, channels. One of my favorite videos I've done on this channel, which has gotten like next to no attention, is I did an episode on, you know, the famous murder scene from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. They used chocolate as blood because it was black and white. And I did this fun, like, what's the viscosity of blood and what would be the best thing to actually use in this situation if you were Alfred Hitchcock. And that was such a fun video to do. It's very sciencey, but it's really sciencey. It's not me talking about some vague, like, thinking versus feeling Meyers Briggs stuff, which has like a fraction of like scientific ideas and interest in it, but it's not science, you know. So my point there being, I'm going to make my science channel and then make this kind of my, just me shining through, which is going to have a lot of science on it, but it's also going to have a lot of my personal experiences, blah, blah, blah. So if you are okay with that when you see tomorrow's video, let me know. In which case this channel would become temporarily my main channel. I'll also be putting out 1 to 2 videos a week. It'll just be something different. I'm going to rebrand the channel to more of a, this is about David Franklin and what I think and feel and what's going on in the world and my responses to it, instead of a science channel. And then I'll have my science channel coming out, which the current plan for it would be The Scholastic Gentleman would be the name of the podcast and YouTube page that would come along with that. So, and I'd be getting back to more of those traditional things, and I give you links, you know, the viscosities, the fourth dimensions, the plasmas, all that. So let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days when I talk about my first day working for the mouse at Disney. See you guys then.